let's cover this then, shall we? I've no idea what I'm doing. Wish me the best. I'll show you if I can as I go along. So things are going really well already. We're 2 minutes in, and I've smashed the light bulb. So cool. We've got cats, so it's going to take a long time to make sure I've got everything up. Okay, so time to finally finish this. It's been a long time, so I hope you can remember what we're doing. First things first, we need to measure this, and Nick's here to help me because it turns out I cannot measure. I have got the measurements wrong so many times, and fabric isn't cheap. So Nick's going to assist me with that, and then we have a calculator on a site called SaleRite, which we will link, that shows you how much fabric you'll need for this size of foam and where to make the cuts and everything. We've just measured the piece of foam, so this is the calculator I was talking to you about. So if you can see on here, you've got your finished width, which is this one here. We've gone for centimetres just because it's a little bit more accurate, we find. Finished length, so that's wherever you're going to want your back of your cushion, because your zipper's going to be at the back of it. Thickness, literally how deep it is. And then this one here that says fabric width is your length, so here to the other side of this, of your fabric. Usually you can find that information out on the website, otherwise you can just measure the roll. And then if I just show you, so here you can do your fabric orientation. So let me actually show you the detail of the fabric here. So we will want, can you see the grain of that fabric? We will want that coming from the back to the front. The details in, and you can see this bit, that's the orientation, and that can be to do with your fabric, so have a play around with that. If you see how we've done it, if we went to length, calculate, then it means we'd have to sew 2 pieces of fabric together. The fabric wouldn't be big enough to do it one way. That's indicated by this black line here. If we're to go width way, then we can make this whole cushion out of 1 piece of fabric. So we just need to make sure when we're laying it out that we're definitely doing it with the grain the way that we want it. Okay, so as you can see, we've put in the exact measurements of our foam here and the size of the roll of the fabric. And then the calculator literally tells us exactly how long we need to cut the fabric, and it shows you where you need to put in all your little corner notches and exactly where your zipper will go. It tells you even like your seam allowances, everything. So in theory, foolproof way of cutting out the fabric. It's sometime in the future. I don't even know what I said last time to really update you, but I know that we basically cut out the 2 squares for the cushions, and that was it. So now we are, a little way down the line again, getting closer and closer to our Scotland trips, and like really just need to get them done now. So hopefully we'll finish them today. Do you think we will? Please God. Okay, so we're just getting the corner notches done. So we just double checked the fabric size, and then we've input again on here, and it'll tell us exactly how much. So it says 5.85, so that's going inwards. And then 6.15, this is in centimetres.
Was it 6.15?
Hello, what are you doing now?
So we're going to find the centre point so that we can make little notches in the centre which will help then the fold of the cushion cover. So we've got our measurement, it's 89.
You're wrong. You ain't got Scooby. Baby. I'll tell you. So, so we've marked these corner notches, they're going to get cut out. And then at the halfway point, which this might not be the halfway point, but we're going to find that out, we're going to cut a rectangular shape, and then this corner and this corner meet up with this middle one and get stitched together, and that forms the corners of your cushions. It'll probably make sense once we're doing it. So we've just worked it out that it's 89.8
Need a pen.
is the halfway mark. Oh, it's pretty close where we folded
not bad
it.
on that fold.
It's going to be probably make it more confusing.
So 89 point what?
8-ish.
Okay.
Shy of 8, if anything, but 8.
So then, I believe that to be the centre point. So if I measure it the other way, I can cheat and then just put it on.
But look at your tape measure. Is it nowhere near it?
No chance.
Is it anywhere near it?
That is like 89.6.
Then that's not going to work. So let's go 89.7 and see what happens.
The problem with the folds
They're making it
is
not
that,
sit
yeah,
flat.
they're creasing up the material.
So do we need to
it's
iron
making
it?
Difficult. No, it just needs to be pulled out as we measure.
So we don't need to get the ironing board out.
No, I do not. It's actually yeah,
That's good because we don't own one.
So what do you want to go for?
Well, I guess 89.7 if, I mean, but it's probably not going to work. But there you go.
Yeah, to be fair, my measurement now I've straightened out the material. My measurement was a bit over.
Okay, I did
That's
say
why
just
you
shy of
measured
it.
twice.
I said, if anything, just shy. Wow, you've just moved it and freehand in there. I got this guy in because I thought he'd be better at the measuring.
No. Better at making it up.
You guys have all seen this if it now doesn't work when I come to stitch it together. So you can see here the centre notches should go in the same amount as the other one, which is 5.85, but the length of them is 9.16. So this is this notch, and so we're going to have to half the 9.16 to get it central. So do you want to do your 5.85 first?
Okay.
And then let me just...
So it's 9.
Hang on, so 9.16. I can't use this phone one-handed. Small hand problems. So you want 4.58 either way. So basically like just shy of 4.6 either way of the centre.
Okay.
We're now drawing on basically what's going to be the seam allowance for the zipper edge. So if you can see, it's difficult because we've not got a real big flat surface, but you've got your centre notches there, corner notches, so it's on the side that doesn't have a notch in, and you want to draw 1 1/4 inches. So we've lined that up with this. It is a little bit tricky, so you just kind of have to manipulate the fabric a bit because it obviously isn't like a still thing like wood or paper or what have you. So I'm just gonna draw all the way along. This is on the, technically on the wrong side of the fabric. I don't know how much that matters with the fabric we've got, but some fabrics it will be more obvious. We've got double-sided sticky tape, and basically what I'm gonna do is I'm sticking it really near the edge here, all the way along. This is in place of pinning your fabrics. It just makes it a lot easier. And saves a bit of time, although it's still not a quick process, but quicker. And then I'll just tear off the edge, and then basically I'm going to peel back this. Will it be satisfying? Will it come off in one? Nice. And then all we're going to do is fold over and match that up with the blue line all the way along. This is creating your seam allowance for your zip. Okay, and then I'm just going to press that down, and I'll do the same to the other side. And then I've cut a length of zip so that it's just a bit longer at each side. It's important to leave a bit free. And basically, if you come in close on the zip, so you can see that can you see it's raised? Is that showing? And then the other side's flat. On the side that's raised, you want to take your tape again, and we're going to tape all along the very edge of it, and then we're going to attach it to that. So it's going to sit, basically the edge of the fabric of the zip is going to sit in line with there, so that you'll see then when it turns over, this bit is going to end up covering the zip. It's going to be a hidden zip. So I'm going to do that for one side, and then I'll show you. You can see that the zip is on, as I said now. So we're going to fold inwards and bring this bit inwards. And basically we're going to put another line of tape along the other edge of the zip. And then, let's just try and make it a little bit more central. Basically what's going to be important, so ignore this bottom half, but you want these edges to make that rectangle, which is eventually going to match up with this rectangle. And then you just want to stick it so that you can't see the zip, so that looks like a seam all along, other end rectangle matches up. So same again really. We've got the tape on, and as you can see, matching that up so that we're getting that nice rectangle there. And I'm going to go to the other end and do that first, rather than work from one end to the other, because I don't want to run into problems if we've mismeasured. I'd rather it be a little bit of a wrinkle. So I'm just sort of lightly placing it to make sure we've not got one big bump anywhere. As you can see, we've probably not got that exact. But you're not going to be looking at this zipper ever, so as long as we can get it relatively flush. So now for a satisfying bit. So take one end of the zip and you're going to break it apart. So you want the zip attached to the fabric but not attached to each other. Because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the sewing machine, and we're going to sew all the way along where we've just stuck, along here, along this one, and that'll be our zipper attached. We're just going to stitch this on. I'm not going to teach you how to use a machine because I don't know myself. I'm making it up. And this is retro. This is probably 20 odd years old. But basically, I'm going to line up so that, can you see like the foot of the zipper here is going to end up running along there. We're looking at this line, and that's how I'm going to get my straight line. So you might not be able to hear me, so I'll just tell you first. I'm going to run back and forth over the edge a few times and come all the way along, and then finish off running back and forth. So okay, so you can see we've got it on. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'll just show you as well. So from that side, you can't see the zipper, it's behind. I've just done this off camera, so I'm not redoing it because it's like the worst bit. But basically you getting this onto there, so you just want to match up them bits and kind of slide it through. It's just fiddly. And then you're going to pull this along. Ooh, I've got a thread. Let's try that again. You're going to pull this along. And then do something really annoying at the other end, which is you're taking it right off, so you are going to have to install that again. But basically the reason for that is you've now created, it's almost like a false seam. This bit's fully sealed up, and that's going to help us now with the next bit while we're sewing the edges together. The fabric is like now by default folded in half, and these are going to be the sides of your cushion. So you want to, on one of these edges, put some tape. So I'll just do that now. I ran out of the smaller tape. I do recommend the smaller one. So if you happen to use a thicker one, just make sure you're trying to stick as close to the edge as possible so that you are only in that seam allowance. So I've done it right along that edge, and then basically I'm going to do it on both of them edges, so that one and that one, what look like they're going to match up, but they're not going to actually, so don't worry about that. So a bit on there, bit on there, so you can see like that. And then in this bit, so what would be the rectangle, like the straight line, you're just going to go, is that clear enough? What would be your straight line there? So just like this. And again, this is in place of your pins, so it's just going to help you sew things together. So you're going to duplicate what you can see there on the other side. So now I'm going to not touch this middle notch, not touch these corners, but just peel off these really long strips on either side. I don't know whether I should have said, this is like inside out, we're going to be flipping it. So you've got if your fabric is particular as to which way, you've got your right side of your fabric that you'll have showing on the inside. And then you just want to be careful to match up these corners. So matched up there, and go to the other corner first. And then you just put in the edges together all the way along. And then press them together, and then you've got a side seam. So same again, and then we're going to stitch that. So exactly the same as with the zipper, we've got our edges that are glued together. We're going to pop it through the machine, and I'm using, so I don't know whether all of them are universal, but this second notch along as my guideline. I'm sure there's a more specific terminology for that. And then again, just forward and back over the edge to strengthen up. So now the edge that's not the zip, so this would have been your centre notch. So you can see, you want to take off the sticky back, and you're trying to make this into what will be a corner. So try and make it as flat as possible. It's hard to get the fabric right. And you're just matching up them edges. And you're going to do the same thing on your other, so not the zip one, on this one. So peel back that tape. You don't want the fabric to go in with, you want to be making it as flat and as wide as possible. And you're just pressing those edges together. So now you've made your corner that you're going to stitch. So you can just jump right into that. So you've obviously got this centre seam, so you want to fold that down. So when you're doing this first one, it doesn't matter which way you fold it down, but I will explain on the zipper edge. So again, I'm going to that second notch, forward and back a few times. Same on this side. Again, pick which way. I'm doing it towards me just because it's easier. Centre bit, and try and make sure your fabric's nice and flat. Oh, we're out of thread. We're out of the bottom thread, so we'll get back to this. Okay, thread fixed, let's try that again. Okay, so now the bit that is important. You want the zipper to be in the middle. And very long is fine. But can you see now the zipper's there, but it's closed up both ends of it? Other than where I've just pulled that apart. But basically we're going to snip that off in line with the end of the fabric now. And I should be able to show you. So I've peeled off the tape, and you want that to match up with the zipper, that to match up at the edge, and then, like I say, the important bit is that sits the same way as that. So same as we've done on all of it, using that same line as a guideline on the machine. Okay, so I'm going to cut off the excess of the zipper there. And then, if you can see, we've got the sticky stuff here. Peel that back. Doesn't matter if it's stuck in that seam, just kind of rip it away, you'll never see that. And again. And you're going to match these up with the zipper end. So you want that centre seam to be central with the zipper, and then you just want your edges together to create that corner shape again. So you should be able to see. And then the important bit now is, because that is sewn down that way, you don't want it to be sewn the opposite way, or you'd get this big seam like that. So you need to make sure you're going the same way as what you went before, but you're essentially doing the same thing. And you can sew through the zipper, that works fine. So, and that is your finished thing. So now all you have to do, find your zipper, put it to one end, and we're going to turn it right side out. So you can see then, you've got all your corners here. That's what you've been making with those little triangle shapes inside. And then other than that, you've just got to wrangle the foam in. So, shall I see if I can do this one?
Okay.
A bit smaller than the last. There we go, and that's the last cushion, thank God. We've got one more curtain to do.
Guys, she has smashed it. So we now have back cushion, side cushion, all cushions covered, and it looks amazing. for nearly the last year since we've been doing it. Actually, the only cushions that we've had have all been wrapped in blankets, in duvet covers, so it feels amazing to see it now when it's like all in the same color, all in the same design. She's also finished off another little cushion, so we've got this nice little trio of handmade cushions which look wicked. So this is it for cushions. Hope you enjoyed it. Lucy absolutely smashed it, and the van looks incredible. Until next time, goodbye.